So we are now live. Okay. So let me address the reviews real quick, and then I'll answer whatever your question is.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the book, but it does have to do with the class.
Okay. So just 1 second. So we're not going to do reviews because that was just PowerPoints, and I'm going to send them to you either tonight or tomorrow. The PowerPoints is just a summary of each chapter. So what I'm doing instead is what we weren't able to do throughout these weeks, which is going through questions and take them as test prep. Does that make sense? So just like we did the first session, chapters 1 through 8, and we went over questions and see the question, what was the correct answer, why the question is asked that way, and why the answer is what it is, right? So that's what I'm going to try to go through as a way to review and again prepare for the test. Deal?
Right.
Okay. So the reviews, the PowerPoint reviews, you're going to get them in your email. If you have any questions, just email me.
The last day of class.
Tomorrow is the last official day of class, yes.
And then
the exam.
well, we don't know when
He
they
left
get
with
there,
my
right?
car, and I have the car key.
What did you just say?
My husband dropped me off with my car, and he left.
What?
And I have the car key.
How does he still
So that means that as soon as he stops the car.
It's just, that's it.
Exactly.
How
And he's
is
lucky
he
that he
gonna
went
pick
You
you
just
down.
call him
And he's lucky that he
in
went
his
far.
car. He doesn't have to pick me up in his car.
Capricorn. So we're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's it. All right. What was your question?
Why is there a green screen?
So it has nothing to do with the
If you were
book,
here
correct?
yesterday, you will know.
If you were here yesterday, you would know. Yes.
So what?
No. What is a green screen for? Good morning, ladies. How are
To
you?
make Bruno look better.
And less
This Capricorn is about to not pass her exam.
I'm still
Minus 20 points right there. So what is a green screen for? Who knows?
Just to put it behind you.
To put an image behind. So when I record, if you probably didn't have a chance or you didn't see it, but when I record the Q&As, behind me I put all gray and then the AskTheRealEstateInstructor.com logo. Or I can put the New Direction logo. I can put whatever I want behind me. So if I'm when I was explaining math, for instance, in one of the Q&As, I'm actually drawing on the computer and it's showing up behind me. So as soon as I'm done, I minimize my face all the way here. You have the whole screen with my explanation. That's what it is. Yep. And as soon as we have the new location, we're going to do all this live. So I'm going to be live, green screen behind me. So it will look way better at home than a projector. So the class cannot be offered online for New Jersey. I am offering the class nationwide to all the states that allow. So it is available for every other state except Jersey. So Jersey is only available as a review. So that's why I have the tutoring site, AskTheRealEstateInstructor.com. Everything we went through here is there, and whoever purchased the access, it's just a tutoring portion. So it's the class itself, right? And then the Q&As, and then whatever they ask, I'll address.
So the Facebook that you're gonna take down?
It's not considered as online, but it's an option.
It's online tutoring, but it's not online class. Does that make sense?
But if they take that, would you will take the school test and the.
In other states, yes. In the state of New Jersey, does not count towards your hours. So if you're watching from home, not yesterday, yesterday is an exception. But if you're watching from home this whole time, it wouldn't count. It would count you as a review because I know some schools have instructors that really don't care much about instructing. They care much about getting their money and getting out. So they read the book versus explaining, right? Unfortunately, it's the way it is. Yes.
Do you have to take the hours if you go exam?
If you fail the exam, do you have to retake the hours? The answer is no. But if you fail, like there's a big distance from the passing score, I might review with you a few questions to see where you are, and I might have to tell you to come back to certain classes. Yes. So it all depends. Okay.
So after this class is officially done, the stuff you put on Facebook is coming down.
As I record the new classes, so when I get to chapter 1, I'll bring down chapter 1 from your class. That's it.
And you're gonna update a new one or?
Yeah, I'll put the new class up, and I'll take down the old class.
Why you put in the class up with the same material?
Sorry?
Why you in the class up with the same material?
Because for distance learning, so for the other states, it has to be a live class. So the previous classes will not count towards their hours. Okay, that's all it is. Plus, as we move forward, hopefully I won't have any more hardware issues, and the classes will have less interruptions. So hopefully it'll be a good flow. You know, hopefully no storms by the time we record. We'll see.
I'm kind of mind blown right here, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're in a mess.
With that, yes.
Hey, how do you call this? ¿Cómo se llama eso? No sé cómo play, el niño de comer aquí, perfect. Así de.
It's almost like a perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I've never seen anybody do it like on the spot.
Well, because.
All right. So it is now 7:21, and you guys are still on your phones and mixing Jello with yogurt, and we're going to move forward.
Where's the wine?
The wine? Well, Heidi had wine yesterday.
Nope, that's 21 before.
You were asking about the wine, so just because I'm making wine. I know.
Is everybody on page 314?
Yep.
Yes.
So can we start?
Yes.
Cool. Did I answer your question, Sebastian? About the green screen? You got it? Okay, cool. So, guys, we're going to review chapter 19 through 15. For those of you that just got here, we're doing this as a test prep. So it's review and preparation, understanding of the question itself, and figuring out how to answer, okay? So, what we got here? Question number 1 is the Environmental Protection Agency requires that buyers of homes built before 1978 receive warnings about possible dangers of A. Okay, phones away, please. And so, anybody says A, radon? B, electromagnetic fields? C, contamination, groundwater contamination? Or D, lead-based paint? Okay, so D, lead-based paint is the common answer, and that is correct. Okay. Next, we have number 2. It's relatively easy to solve problems caused by the presence of A, asbestos, B, underground storage tanks, C, lead paint, or D, radon.
B.
Who says A, asbestos? Nobody? Who says B, underground storage tanks, USTs? No? 1? Okay. C, lead paint? Okay. Or D, radon? 4 people for radon. So here's the thing. Sorry, just getting here. Okay. So who said radon? Raise your hand if you said radon. Okay, 3. I thought you said radon too. D, right? So here's the thing. Radon is a natural gas, right? If it's a gas, the problem is when it's elevated levels of that gas, that becomes dangerous to your health. So relatively easy, because all you have to do is open the windows, open the doors. As long as there's proper ventilation, it reduces the levels of radon. See, asbestos, you have to have certified people to remove the asbestos. Is that relatively easy? No. Underground storage tanks, you have to have authorized, certified people to remove it. Is that relatively easy? No. Lead-based paint, you have to take all the chips away, repaint everything. That's not that easy. The easiest one out of these ones is radon, just ventilation. Who had a question? You had a question? Question? Okay, good. Number 3, condemnation is the court process by which state enforces its power of A, master planning, B, eminent domain, C, escheat, or D, exclusionary zoning.
B.
B. Who says it's B? Okay, is there anybody that disagrees with this, that thinks it's something else? Anybody? Anybody says A? All right, B is the most common, C definitely not, D definitely not. So correct. Condemnation is when we condemn the property must be taken down, either because it's hazardous, or in this scenario, eminent domain, means the municipality or the county or the state needs the property to serve some public good. So condemnation, automatically eminent domain. Very good. Right hand side on top. 4. When someone dies without a will or any natural heirs, the state acquires his or her property through the power of A, eminent domain, B, condemnation, C, taxation, or D, escheat.
D.
D. Is everybody in agreement with D? Okay. So escheat is when the government cheats you out of your property because you failed to prepare a will or your heirs never claimed it. Okay? So escheat. Very good. Number 5. Says New Jersey's Mount Laurel decisions were concerned with A, exclusionary zoning, B, urea formaldehyde foam insulation, C, eminent domain, or D, certificates of occupancy. Who says A? Raise your hand. B, C, or D? Cool. So everybody, pretty much the majority of you said A. So yes, exclusionary zoning. What does that mean? It means that Mount Laurel at the time was trying to push away people, so exclude them. That's why exclusionary zoning. Push away people of low and moderate income. They didn't want the poor to live in their area. Okay? And if you guys remember, there was 2 lawsuits about this. Yes.
Yes, Ms. Lauren 1 and 2, they're both the same?
You didn't put a 1 or a 2 up here.
Huh?
It's give me a 1 if it's good. Go ahead.
That was a good idea, but the little thing is there.
Ms. Lauren,
Mount Laurel.
Mount Lauren is 1 and 2, right?
There's 2 lawsuits, yes.
So what is the difference between them?
The difference, it's not a difference, just number 2 came to enforce number 1.
Okay, perfect.
Because what happened was they got sued once in 1973, 1975, they got a decision, but they didn't listen. They kept on doing whatever they wanted. So 1983, they got sued again.
Okay.
So all it says in the second one is like, hey, this is the law. You're going to do this or we're going to fine you.
So
You know.
basically in the text, either 1 or 2, or you can put either or only, the name is exclusion zoning.
No, Mount Laurel is Mount Laurel, period. They're not going to ask you when was 1, when was 2.
Okay.
And what's the difference? No, Mount Laurel. You just need to know Mount Laurel, exclusionary zoning, or trying to exclude the poor people from residential areas. Number 6, certificate of occupancy is issued by A, Zoning Board of Appeals, B, Department of Environmental Protection, C, a building inspector, or D, Board of Adjustment.
C.
C? Who says A? Raise your hand if you say A. B? Raise your hand. C? Raise your hand. D? Raise your hand. All right, cool. So, the majority of you answered the right answer, which is C, building inspector. So you apply for a permit to the building inspector, right? Building inspector comes inspects the plans, gives you a temporary approval. Once everything's completed, the work's completed, the city inspector comes in, hey, everything appears to be in order. Here's certificate is called a CO, certificate of occupancy, because everything is in order according to the building codes. Good? Yes? Give me a 1 if this is good. 7. It is important to remember that deed restrictions are placed on property by the A, zoning board, B, seller, C, state, or D, municipal government.
B.
Raise your hand if you say A, B, C, or D. Do not raise your hand. Okay, there's a few people that refuse to raise hands. It's okay. So the answer is very simple. If it's a deed restriction, who prepares the deeds? Who prepares a deed?
The seller.
It's between who? The seller and the buyer. So a deed, it's a private transaction between two parties. Therefore, any deed restriction can only be placed by private parties. A deed restriction is placed by private parties. In this scenario, who is the private party?
Seller.
Seller. Good? All right. Here's tip number 1. I mentioned it yesterday in the live towards the end. I don't know if you guys were still on or not, but I'll mention it again. Tip number 1 to passing the exam. If he has a bunch of lines, skip. Leave this question towards the end. Okay? If the question has 3 lines, so up to 2 lines, you can read, comprehend, and you fresh, great, attack it. If it's 3 lines or more, you're going to be going back, breathe, back, and read. You're going back and back and back, and you never move forward because you get lost by the time you get to the middle of line 3. Does that make sense? So there's an option on the computer to mark the question so you can come back later.
Where is computer?
The state computer, yeah. So again, so it's going to be, you have an option to mark it, leave it towards the end. Math questions, the same thing. Even though you could be a genius, you could be the best at math, it's still time consuming, so make sure you mark it, leave it to the end. These are simple tips to pass the exam. Answer the easy stuff first, get it out of the way, and then you can have, if you do the way I'm telling you, roughly 80% of the exam is done in the first hour. So that means you still have 3 hours to complete 20%. Does that make sense? You have plenty of time. So questions like this we would skip, but here we're going to go over. It's the state exams whenever you schedule. So a subdivision has deed restrictions stating that homes can be built on only on 5 acre lots, and although the town itself requires only 1/3 acre lots. Tom buys 1 acre in the subdivision. Can he obtain a building permit from the town?
C.
You're talking Spanish or
C.
C?
But it's
All right, so
A.
A, yes, and his neighbors in the subdivision cannot do anything to stop this building, his building. B, no, because the building department must observe the deed restriction. C, yes, but the neighbor can ask the court to enforce the restriction and order his house torn down. Or D, no, because his lot is larger than the legal 1/3 acre. Who says A? Who says B? Who says C?
C.
C.
They should have put C.
Who says-
pairs, and then we could have circled.
Who says D? All right. So we got everybody decided to, okay, 2 of us picks this, the other 2 pick that. All right, here's the thing. Can I purchase? So the question here is, can I purchase the property, like 1 acre, get a permit from the town, and allow me to build something on it? The answer is yes, you can get the permit. Because the town says 1/2 acre, I'm sorry, 1/3 acre lots. And I'm trying to, purchased a 1, right? Right, 1 acre lot. That's why I purchased, which is more than the minimum required by the town. Yes?
Yes.
So can I purchase the property, request a permit, and build?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
But if you're my neighbor, I'm killing you.
But the neighbors, yes, the neighbors can enforce their rights in that subdivision. Remember, the one that restricts you the most is the one that prevails. The town will give it to you based on their laws, but then the neighbors, it's up to them, or the original subdivider, it's up to them to either allow you or ask you to tear it down. So the answer is C. The neighbors can ask that you can buy it, you can get the permit, but the neighbors can ask the court to enforce the restriction and order the house torn down. Okay? Good? Questions? So you got to be careful which neighborhood you're moving to. Your neighbors have power. Now your neighborhood, you can do whatever there.
She's gonna be the hater one.
Oh, she's,
Yeah.
that's what you're saying.
Unless you build it to improve my property.
It's a valid point.
Stay shut, I'm gonna build a pool in your backyard.
Yeah, I'll do this, but I'm going to improve your property too. Just,
You know,
just
because
as a
I got
sweet
some
thing.
extra cash and I don't know what to do with it.
That's it. All right. 9. The seller who wishes to cancel a listing, A, must cite a legal acceptable reason. B, may not cancel without the agent's agreement. C, may be held liable for money the agent spent on advertising the listing. Or D, may not sell the property for 6 months afterward.
Better be seen that we're fighting.
Yeah.
Better be C because we're fighting.
Waste my time.
Who says A? Who says B? C? D? All right. So the correct answer is C. Because here's the thing, it's your property, right? You're the seller, it's your property. If you want to list, you list. If you want to withdraw the listing, you withdraw the listing. Okay? But you might be held liable for the money that I spent on advertising the listing. And here's another thing. If you put the property back on the market and it sells, you will definitely be liable for my commission. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. It's just that, hey, I put some work into it. I'm coming after you.
I'm not a toy.
Because we had a, I'm not sorry. Because we had a contract. That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah, that's why I was confused, because I thought the contract doesn't allow the seller to do that after a certain
Withdraw?
amount of days.
Nope. Not a listing agreement. That's between me, the realtor, right? The broker, the agent, and you, the seller.
Listed.
To list, yes. Uh-huh. So if it's between the seller and the buyer, there's a certain amount of days to cancel, yes.
Okay.
But between us, no.
Okay, I got
Okay? So we can enter into an agreement. Not two, you got a question? We can enter into an agreement where we say, yeah, no problem. We will back out of this, no problem. If it's agreed between both parties, no costs. If I say, yeah, you can back out, but I've already spent $500, then you might be liable for the $500. And I'm going to have to prove that I've spent money on it. Yes.
I think you somewhat answered that. I was gonna say, what if they hire us again, if don't hire another agent the next time?
Yep.
Then we'll be getting double money.
So sometimes what happens is we do temporary withdrawals. Like, hey, I don't want to sell right now, but we'll go back on the market. Okay, so it's possible that that happens. The thing is, while the listing period was in effect, let's say we listed and 1 week later you backed out. The listing is for 6 months. Within those 6 months, you cannot list with anybody else. Within those 6 months, if you intend to list again, it's with me. After those 6 months, you can go wherever you want. Our contract ended. And when I say 6 months, it's just an example. Because if our listing agreement was for 1 year, then you're stuck for 1 year. If our listing agreement said 2 weeks, then you're stuck for 2 weeks. Got it? Yes? It's negotiable. So in today's market, if you cannot sell the property in 6 months, then something is wrong. If it's a tough market, downfall market, then it might take a little bit longer because we've reached the peak and now properties are not worth what they used to be. So it's tougher to sell. All right, guys, number 10. It says, All listing agreements are made between the home seller and the A, salesperson who deals directly with the seller, B, a firm's broker of record, C, local multiple listing service, or D, transaction broker. What was that?
Wait, that's D.
Who says A? Who says B? Who says C? Great. And D.
I got D.
Great. So here's the thing. Listing agreements. It's an arrangement between the seller and the broker. Because who does that listing agreement belong to? The broker of record. Okay?
And then the
Broker of record.
negotiates with the.
The broker of record splits with you agents, whoever listed. So you're the listing agent, you're not the listing broker. Okay? Questions?
Okay, all these things agreements.
Yes. You got questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm waiting for her to finish her question.
Oh, she didn't start. She was reading.
She was reading out
Did-
loud.
I get a listing, I put it with the broker. You as a agent in my office, or our office, my listing. you
Guys,
sell
there's a
it.
question. Go ahead.
So I split, the commission split between you and the broker,
Mm-hmm.
and as well me as the listing agent.
Okay. Rewind a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
I get the listing
You got the listing.
for the brokers, you're the sales agent. You sell the house,
So I'm the buyer's agent.
yeah.
Okay.
How is that commission split?
If we're in-house, is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay. It's the same arrangement. So whenever you guys created the listing agreement between the brokerage and the seller, listing agreement usually states 6% commission. In that listing agreement states also, hey, if you find a buyer, I'm gonna give 3% to you. So whoever the buyer's broker gets 3%. Okay? We get to the closing table and it was an in-house listing agent, in-house buyer's agent or selling agent, right? What's gonna happen is the broker gets 30%, let's say it's a 70-30 split. The broker gets 30% of the split with the listing agent and 30% of the split with the buyer's agent. So it's just split pretty much that way within the house. It's the same thing as being outside.
So the math, the broker gets 30% from the sales price,
Always.
okay? And then.
No, sorry, not the sales price. It's 6%. The commission is 6% of the gross selling price.
And that,
So doing the math simpler is the average sales price is 300,000. And that's where I'll do the example. $300,000, it was a sales price. Average commission is 6%. So that's $18,000 total commission towards the broker, the listing broker. Okay? The listing broker is then responsible to split with the buyer's broker. So whoever brings a buyer, the selling broker or buyer's broker, whatever way you want to call it, whoever brings a buyer. If it happens to be in-house, we don't split with another broker. It stays in-house. So the brokerage here got both the listing and the sale done. I get $18,000 as your broker. And then from my $18,000, Dr. Kev, you have a 70% commission level. So I'm going to split whatever is the agreement on the contract, which is, let's say, 3% to you and 3% to Janine. She brought the buyer, right? From your 3%, if you're at 70% commission, I give you 70 of that 3. And here the same thing, 70 of that 3. Does that make sense? So I keep 30% of the split on one side and 30% of the split on the other side. Good? Yeah? Yes. Peace. Okay, you have a question, I'm waiting.
Okay. So if they bring the buyer, I need to share my percent? If they, yeah.
You got the listing, right? So you're listing her house. Okay. And when you got the listing, hold on. Okay. Here's the thing. We have $300,000 was what the house sold for. It's the listing sales price. Let's call it the listing price as well because it's sold for true value or full price. Okay, that's the sales. We had an agreement. So what you negotiated with her was a 6% commission. The 6% commission is on this value, whatever it's sold for. Okay. So 6% commission is $18,000. And this is the gross commission. So that's the total value that's received from the sale of this property. Now, in this agreement, so you guys understand what I'm trying to say here. In this agreement, when you sat down with Heidi trying to sell her property, right? You said, listen, 6% commission is what I'm looking for. I'm going to give out 3 to whoever brings a buyer. If I find a buyer, I keep the full 6%. If somebody else finds a buyer, they get 3% and I get 3%, right? So we
When you
split
say if someone else means.
another agent
Another agent.
Outside the.
or inside another agent. Okay, it's 2 parties.
Yeah,
It's
like
it's
the-
still considered, even though it's in-house, it's still considered 2 separate parties.
Like they have a broker, they have a realtor already, and they want to buy the house that I'm listing. Okay, no? No.
You put on the market.
I put it on the market, and a realtor approached me, we have a client to buy it, right?
Oh, yeah, you're saying, okay. So then, let's say Edna has a buyer, which is Yasmin, okay? And she says, hey, I just saw your listing, Melanie. Is it okay if I show my buyer? Right? And she comes with Yasmin to see the property. Yasmin likes it. Edna says, I put an offer. My 3% is already written into the offer. That's what she gets. 3% because that's what you advertised that she would get if she brought a buyer. Now, you guys work for the same agency. It does not matter who you work for. The split is still the split. Whatever's agreed on the listing agreement is 3% for one, 3% for the other.
Okay, and a question, let's say she come and I agree for her to
Mhm.
show the house. But on the same day or the next day or the day before, somebody who I brought to show the house, they're interested as well. I could choose,
No,
no?
you're not choosing anything. Our job is to pass all offers to the seller. The seller chooses. So she chooses which offer to accept. If you reject an offer, you lose your license immediately. Because it's not up to you to reject. If the offer is $1, you still have to present the offer.
So basically, even though I brought a buyer and she brought hers, so I still present it to her.
All offers, yep.
And then she chooses.
She
And if
chooses.
she chooses the one I pick,
Then
I get a
you're the
share.
one that gets paid the 6%. If not,
And the broker take
30%. If that's your commission split with your broker. In this scenario here, you'll split with another agent.
Mhm.
And again, in this scenario would be 9,000, 9,000. So if your commission split is 70%, you get 6,300. That's how much goes to your pocket. If your split here is 60%, right, then you get 5,600. That's what goes to your pocket. Do you guys understand? So this commission, the 70% or the 60% is whatever you negotiated with your broker. You are independent contractor. So you go to your broker and say, hey, this is how much I want to get. Your broker says yes or says no. The majority of the brokers have something set already for people that have no experience. That's how you start. Some of them 50-50, some of them 60-40, some of them 70-30 right off the bat. Okay? But it's a negotiation. So this part right here is internal. When it gets to this part, this is internal, has nothing to do with the seller, has nothing to do with the buyer. That's between you and your broker. This right here is between the seller and the broker. You understand?
Yeah.
So the top, seller and broker. Whatever we're going to give to the buyer right here, again, seller and broker. And then this, the payout is internal. Because who gets paid in a transaction? Broker. Do you get paid in a transaction? No.
Is this live?
You get a split, but you don't get paid from the at the transaction itself. The broker gets. It is live. I'm sorry.
I'll talk to you after.
Okay.
I don't want to go on record.
You don't want to go on record? Okay. All right. You guys good? All right. So. Next question. 11. Is that what? I didn't hear it. Next question, 11. The seller owes a commission only to whichever broker produces an acceptable buyer with that type of listing. A, open. B, exclusive agency. C, net. Or D, exclusive right to sell.
Okay, I put,
B.
I put A,
Hold on. Who says A? Raise your hand. Okay. Who says B?
but I don't really understand it.
I got that. Give me a second. So A again, let me see. Okay, and you put A as well. B, okay, C, or D?
I'm between B and D.
You're between D and D?
B and D,
Oh,
only because it says only, so I know it's exclusive to something.
okay. In exclusive right to sell, the last one, if, okay, so breaking down the question. In exclusive right to sell, you must pay regardless of who found the buyer. Exclusive right to sell says that Remax is solely entitled to commission, regardless of who brought the buyer. Remember I said it was like a marriage. You committed, fully committed, period. Net listing is illegal in New Jersey, and that's where we say you get the listing is, you want $200,000, Mr. Seller? Great. Whatever the difference is between the sales price and what you want is what I get. That's illegal in New Jersey, so it's not even part of the equation here. Huh? Net listing. Okay. B is exclusive agency. Exclusive agency is we ask Remax to sell. So it's just one agency, just like exclusive right to sell. It's just that in this one, no matter who sells, Remax gets paid. So if you found your cousin at the dinner table, you're talking, and the cousin says, I want to buy, was it through an agency? No. But in exclusive right to sell, the agency still gets paid. Exclusive agency is if the agency finds a buyer, they get paid, but that's the agency, right? If the seller finds a buyer through his or her own efforts, do they have to pay the agency? No. Exclusive right to sell, no matter who sells, agency got to get paid. Exclusive agency, you gave to one agency to sell. If they find a buyer, they get paid. If they don't find a buyer, but you do, you're the seller, right? You don't have to pay.
What about
Okay.
another realtor?
I'm sorry?
What about another,
That would be an agency.
okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. If Weichert brings a buyer, they bought it through the listing. So the listing was what caused that sale to happen.
It could be different brokers,
Different brokerages.
so they get.
The key is Remax listed the property and Weichert saw the listing. Okay? That's why Weichert agent is bringing a buyer. It was through the listing, therefore through the agency's efforts. Therefore, agency gets paid. But again, if you're sitting at the dinner table with your cousin and your cousin says, I want to buy, was that through the agency? No. Okay? Now, breaking down the question, it says, the seller owes a commission only to whichever broker. The moment it says whichever, we're talking about multiple brokers. Therefore, it's multiple partners. Remember I said it was an open relationship? Oh, so it's breaking down the question. So the correct answer is A, open listing. We only have to pay whoever brings a buyer. Okay?
Full commission. Okay, I get it. I'm just kidding.
You guys that were home, did you see all the funny faces that were going on between these two?
Just saying, we're the best class we ever had. You will miss us.
Let me drink coffee. I'm joking.
You chose D, none of the above.
You guys not going anywhere. Come on. How am I gonna miss you?
Your next class is gonna be so boring, man. You ain't even gonna want to come.
Watch the videos. 13.
12.
Can we skip? I already answered this.
Yes.
The owner, a quick question. Is it hot in here or it's okay?
It's perfection.
Perfection. All right. The owner retains the right. 12. The owner retains the right to sell without paying a commission to the one agent. See the difference between this question and the previous one? Previous one said whoever agent. Here it says one agent, right? So I have the right of not paying the one agent. Which type of agency do I have the right to not pay the one agency? Exclusive agency. That's B. Did everybody get that? Who did not get it? Okay.
Bruno, I think you should also.
13.
To sell the first house.
I can't hear you. What? No, I couldn't. I literally.
I think you should help us all to sell the first house as a part of the training. Just the first closing.
For nice fee.
Right. For a fee, yeah.
I love you guys. 50-50 for a nice fee.
It's fine. I could do 50-50 in my first sale.
So I just want to say something real quick. Just want to say something real quick.
You're not hiring, yeah, I know.
No,
You're on today, Lou.
what I was gonna say is that in class I am not recruiting at all. But to make a statement on what you guys are saying, we do it for free. Part of our agency motto is helping. So we will make sure that you can close on your first deal. We'll close on a second deal, close on a third deal, close on 100 deals. We're gonna be there. Okay. Say it again.
So you,
Why so does otherwise?
you could, wait, hold on. You said you wasn't recruiting, so you're not even thinking about it. Okay, so.
No. What I'm saying is, listen to me, guys.
Okay.
Listen to me. School is school, agency is agency.
Okay.
I'm gonna have people here from other agencies, so I cannot use the school as a recruiting tool. If you guys choose to interview different brokers or none and just come over, you're more than welcome. But I'm not saying I'm using this as a tool to recruit because it's not.
We understand.
That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Everybody understand?
Thank you.
Hire Bruno.
If you go somewhere else, you'll never get licensed. I'm just saying. Now.
Bruno,
Yes.
you hire.
I'm hired.
Yes. You
Thank
met
you.
my expectation to be my broker.
Damn. All right. Your broker was actually just walking.
Oh, well.
He's the one that puts the air for you guys. 13.
Well, you are his
Dana's
right hand.
agreement, Dana's agreement with her agent is that she receives $300,000 when her house is sold, and the agent can keep anything more than he can get.
Illegal.
Net.
Yeah. Sue, I'm called Sue to sue.
You call suit to sue. There you go. Did everybody get the answer?
Yes.
Illegal. Which one is the illegal one?
Guy, as
C,
soon as it says
net.
illegal, immediately look for the answer net. I mean, that was Bruno said. Right?
Well,
Yeah, sorry.
first of all, you have more than 3 lines, skip to the end.
14, yes. If it's a long one, you skip. 14, very good. A comparative market analysis is used to aid the seller in setting the listing price. B, inform the clients about local commission rates. C, submit the listing to the multiple listing service. Or D, determine the true tax figure. A, right? Because a comparative market analysis, or CMA, is checking the values of the property around before you list yours. 15, the seller owes a commission to the listing agent no matter who sells the property in which type of agency. Exclusive right to sell. We already covered all this. I think you guys got it, right? Now it is. On top, we got 16. The term liquidated damages refers to A, money that can be retained by the seller if the buyer defaults for no good reason. B, consideration necessary for a valid contract. C, equitable title. Or D, novation. Who says A?
A.
Who says B? C? How about D? You didn't understand? Okay. So then I want you to write right above liquidated damages, write settlement. So settlement, why? Because when we put a contract, we put a good faith deposit. A good faith deposit means, hey, I really want to buy your house and I want to go through with the terms of this contract. In fact, after attorney review, I'll give you a second good faith deposit. This deposit supposedly counts towards the down payment. So when we get to the end, to the closing table, the down payment is $20,000, for instance, minus whatever you already gave up front. Okay, so it's only to say, I really want this. In another example is if you're doing a lease, we have to put something called security deposit, right? Which is very similar, yes? All right, so follow with me. Good faith deposit or security deposit, they act pretty much in the same way, which is, I want to make sure as a seller or as a landlord that you will follow the terms of the contract all the way to the end. So as a buyer or a tenant, you're giving the money in good faith that you will. If you don't follow the terms of the contract, then the landlord or the seller can keep that money, right? So if you're a landlord and your tenant destroys or doesn't pay, you can kick him out and keep the money in your pocket. You keep the security deposit. In a sale, you keep the good faith deposit as that same settlement. The thing about this is that you cannot go after, if you accept this, you cannot go after the buyer for more money. You understand? Did you get it?
So
The answer is A.
if you screw up the deal, then the seller keeps the money back.
Yeah, so you're the buyer, right? You're gonna buy Heidi's property. Edna did all the work, Melanie did all the work, and all of a sudden you go like, yeah, I don't want to buy. I'm gonna go somewhere else. With that money, I'm gonna go on vacation. Is that a good reason to not buy? No. So how's Heidi at fault, the seller, how's she at fault for you wanting to just walk away? So Heidi can say, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. Go on your vacation, but I'm keeping your money. Whatever you deposited in escrow is now mine. Okay? And if she does that, she cannot go after more money. But if she says, you know what? I don't want the $5,000 deposit. I'm going to sue you for everything you got. It would be more like the reverse, but yeah. I'm going to sue you for everything you got. Yeah.
The seller?
Not for everything you have, for whatever's allowed by law. See, she's selling for $300,000, but after being on the market for so long, the offers, you lose time, but the offers now, the new offers that come in, they're not 300. Oh, it's been on the market for 200 days? I'll give you 280. So that difference, you're liable for it.
So then you can decide, hey, I'm gonna have a
Yeah, so the three options were exactly that. Keep the money, right? Or sue you to actually buy, right? Compensation as well. I can sue you for compensation and so on. So there's a bunch of options if you decide to back out for no legal reason.
So basically, when you're gonna buy a house, you must have, or it's only if they requested.
What do you mean?
Liquidate damage.
No, you put a good faith deposit, which is not mandatory. The seller is the one that decides whether to keep the money or not if the buyer walks away.
Okay, but it's not mandatory to buy a house to do that unless they request it.
No. Oh, so the deposit is not mandatory, no. But think about it. If you don't put a deposit, are you serious about this?
No.
So as a seller, how are you gonna feel? No.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. So you can play the Beyonce song in the background, but instead of a ring, you say a check. So if you're serious about it, you should have put a ring on it. No, you put a check. All right. Listen, it works. 17. 17. It's right here, guys. I have documents here. One page. It's from the math question. I will give you guys, if you were here on time, I would have given. I'll give you at the end. Okay. Next, 17. The real estate broker is most motivated to invest time and effort in a open listing, B, exclusive agency listing, C, exclusive right to sell listing, or D, comparative market analysis? C. Why?
Because you don't wanna invest time on someone who can get another broker, or someone who can go on their own and sell their house and not give you anything.
Absolutely. You want to get married to your seller. Contractual marriage for the business, okay?
When a divorce.
No,
Of the closing.
for 6 months. It's a 6-month marriage. Are you guys understanding this? In an open listing, open relationship, so you can go anywhere? Yeah, I'm not going to spend my time there.
You're liable for 6 years to sue you back in case you did.
Well, it's a different story, but yes.
It's
18.
that number.
18, yes. The amount of commission split that the listing broker intends to offer a cooperating broker who finds a successful buyer must be revealed to A, no one except the cooperating broker, B, the seller, C, the Justice Department, or D, the real estate commission.
B.
Raise your hand if you say A. Raise your hand if you say B. Raise your hand if you say C. D? Okay, the 3 of you don't raise your hand. It's okay. The answer is B. Remember, I already said this earlier. When you prepare the listing agreement, you're telling the seller, hey, commission is 6%. Do you agree? If they agree to the 6%, that's set in stone. That's the total commission. Mr. or Mrs. Seller, I intend to offer 3% to whoever brings me a buyer, and they must be okay with it. If they question you, or why don't you give more and you keep less? It's a negotiation, so you have to be aware of that. The seller must know how much you're paying out, because some agents, what they do is they give less to whoever brings a buyer, and then they sit back and relax because listing is done. There's not much more for us to do. So why would you keep the most and give the least? Does that make sense? A seller can question that stuff.
But they don't do, they don't care, they don't understand.
They don't know. Yep. 19. Comparative market analysis should take into consideration the A, seller's original cost, B, tax assessment figure, C, amount the seller has invested in improvements, or D, recent sales prices of nearby homes.
D.
D. Does everybody agree with D?
Yeah, that's kind of the same of the 14.
Yep.
Why 2 questions the same?
Because in the exam, you're going to have questions that are similar, just in different ways, and it is to trick you. So if you're not paying attention,
That's the answer, but I feel like it also should be based on how much the seller has invested in the. I
why?
mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna be like, no, because.
Stop for a second. It says comparative market analysis.
Well, if you do.
You're comparing the market. Just give me a second. You're comparing the market. You're not looking at the house yet. You're looking at the house as a whole. Properties like yours, 2-family, 3-bedroom, 2-bath per unit. This is what they're selling for. But now let's look at your property in detail to adjust for differences. That's separate. So the C is the assessment of your property. You got it? Yes, Heidi?
Yes.
Thank you. So C is the assessment of the property. That's after. What I was talking about here, comparative market analysis, is let's look at the other properties that are similar to yours. Since I don't know what's in them, I cannot use them to the details, right? But I can use them as this is what's sold around of similar properties. So recent sales is D only.
So
Okay.
basically, that's the base, and then you add more amount in the.
Add or remove, because if that one has a garage and yours doesn't, there's different values. You got it? 20. If a sales contract is prepared by a salesperson or broker, the buyer and the seller each have how long in which to obtain review by their attorneys? A, 24 hours, B, 3 business days, C, 7 calendar days, or D, 10 calendar days? B. Raise your hand if you say A. Anybody? Raise your hand if you say B. All right, sold. The majority raise their hand. So, correct. 3 business days. When somebody puts an offer and it's accepted by the seller, once both of them receive the signed copy, very important, both of them receive the signed copy, then we start 3 business days. 21. A binder and deposit receipt is one form of A, listing contract, B, sales contract, C, independent contractor agreement, or D, buyer broker agreement. Who says A? Who says B? C? D? Who says nothing? So here's what happens. Binder and deposit receipt is exactly the same as a sales contract. It's exactly the same as offer or contract of sale. So in the chapter 11, under contracts, it says actually that it could have one number of forms and be called binder and deposit receipt, sales contract, or offer or contract of sale. So they all mean the same. 22.
That's when you were talking about, that's the receipt that we received from the store after we purchased something.
No. Here is, I put an offer on your property. So it's a contract, right? If you accept it, automatically becomes a contract. It's just that in certain areas in the United States, it's called a binder and deposit receipt. It's a binding agreement and they receive the deposit. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Got it? Cool. 22. If the sales contract becomes legally enforceable only after the buyer receives a satisfactory report from a home inspector, that requirement is known as A, consideration, B, contingency, C, encumbrance, or D, warranty.
I think B.
B, all right, wait. Raise your hand if you say A. Raise your hand if you say B. Raise your hand if you say C. How about D? Okay, so what are you pointing at all the answers or just?
No, I'm reading.
Okay, so the answer is B, contingency. In front of it, I want you to write condition. That means that the contract was conditional to a specific event. In this case, an inspection. Some cases, it's a mortgage. I will buy it if I get approved by the mortgage. I will buy it if I get approved by my partner. I'll buy it if, and so on. Anytime there's an if, it becomes a contingency or a condition. Melody, you're saying? Nope. Okay.
So what is the key word in this question that you can tell us that that's B? Because if it's something from like, the state on Sam.
Just remember condition or contingent means if something. So it says right there that you'll only get approved if there's a report. So anytime there's an if, there's a condition. Okay. 23. An offer is not. I want you guys to circle or underline not. So you start preparing yourself for these tricky parts. An offer is not legally considered accepted until A, earnest money has been deposited, and I already gave you this answer a few moments ago. B, the other party has been notified of the acceptance. C, the parties have shaken hands. Or D, all inspections and appraisals have been completed. Who says A? Who says B? Who says C? D? Okay. The correct answer is B. I told you earlier that a contract is not legal or does not start until both parties accept it. But how am I, the buyer, going to know that the seller accepted? Well, until I receive notice of your acceptance, and that is a signed copy of the contract. So as soon as I see my signature and your signature there, it's binding.
And the dates to do that are?
And then we have, after that, after both signatures, the contract is binding, okay, it's a legal contract. It's just that it's binding after 3 business days.
I know, but there also is something, a time period, isn't it, between when do you accept? You could last up to a month to accept?
If I say I'm looking for the highest and the best offer, yeah, I can say,
Okay.
I can say bring all offers until X day. I can turn it into an auction. It's going to be on X day. I'm going to determine who wins. Bless you. Does this make sense or no?
Yeah.
Okay. 24. Jim takes out a mortgage loan to buy his first home, then discovers the next day that he could find a loan with a more favorable rate at another lending institution. He has how long to cancel the first loan? A, 3 days, B, 7 days, C, 10 days, or A, he may not rescind the mortgage. Who says A? B? C? How about D? Who says D? Why do you think it's D? You don't know. Okay, great. So, eeny, meeny, miny, it's D. Okay, got it. Heidi,
Yeah.
you said D?
Yeah,
Why?
because he already, it's basically what you mentioned before with the liquidated damages. I don't know, I kind of associate
no.
it like that, but after he went through a mortgage loan, he can't just drop that and just go somewhere else. It's like you already have an agreement with
There are
him.
certain conditions where you can. In this particular case, the way the question is written, you can't. There's something here that triggers the reason why you can't. Rafael?
Is it raining?
Yeah.
A? No, the correct answer is D. I'm asking why.
She already took out the loan.
Say it again?
She already took out the loan.
But there's times when you can rescind even after you took out the loan. Yes.
Because his reason why is because he find a better rate in another.
Nope.
The reason why he can't resign.
Oh, well, she was about to say at another living institution. You can't finish one?
Nope. Here's the thing. Trigger words. Trigger words. He's buying it. Okay? You cannot rescind the contract for a loan when you're purchasing. But if it was a refinance, if you already had the loan and 3 years later you say, you know what, I have equity, I want to refinance, cash out, whatever, you're not purchasing, you're just changing to another loan. At that point, you could rescind the contract and you have the 3 days that you were saying, you have 3 days. When it's a purchase, you already committed to the loan and you're buying the house 3 months later, you cannot back out. So there's no rescission period for a purchase. You had the time to cancel this when you had the 3 business days for the attorney review. You had a time to cancel this during the period of time that your mortgage was being approved. If you guys work smart, and this is what I ask you guys to do, if you guys work smart, you're going to work closely with mortgage loan bankers or originators because you want your buyers pre-approved. You want your buyers to have shopped around for their loans before they even put an offer. And that's why it's binding. Does that make sense? Not only that, they give you the loan estimate. If you intend to proceed, you've committed, it's binding. Remember the loan estimate? They have to give it to you within 3 business days of the application. It's binding. If it's for a purchase, remember, if it's for a purchase and it says to buy the first home, if it's for a purchase, and we highlighted this, we have it in green. If it's for a purchase, you cannot back out of the loan itself. You could have backed out of the contract within the 3 business days or subject to approval, but you were approved. That's what it says. Does that make sense? So the 3 business days rescission only applies to refinances, not purchases. So underline, buy the first home. D. Yeah. Do you guys understand this? All right. 25. In a contract, whatever the parties promise to give to each other is known as A, consideration, B, novation, C, liquidated damages, or D, assignment. Who says A? Who says B? C or D? All right. Correct answer is A, consideration, because consideration is exchange of value. I said that I'm giving you $300,000 in exchange for the house. Isn't that what we promise in a purchase agreement? I want to purchase your property and I'm willing to give you this much? Yes. Novation means new contract.
Like to transfer.
When we did assignments,
Refinancing, like refinancing.
no. So there's assignments. Well, refinancing, yeah, it could be a type of novation. But for this scenario, it's buyer-seller contracts. So novation or assignments are very simple, very similar, I'm sorry. It's just that one carries more liability than the other. Assignment is transfer of contract from you to him. So you're transferring liability to purchase to somebody
Like
else.
if you buy the shares and stuff like that.
The shares?
Like if you buy the stuff inside the house and it's still like it was like.
It's the example where I said that you put an offer on this property. After the 3 business days, it's binding. So now can you back out of the deal? No. But something happened in your life where you cannot buy the property anymore. So you're going to find somebody else that can buy the property, and you're going to transfer your purchase agreement to somebody else who can afford to buy it. That's an assignment. The problem with that is that if that person cannot afford it, or if that person does not complete, you are liable. He's liable, you're liable. In a novation, you transferred and the seller agrees that you're out of the picture. So in a novation, it's a brand new contract with brand new parties.
Okay, in assignment, you are liable for like the rest of your life until you finish paying the house?
No. If the person does not purchase, if they back out of the deal,
Okay. But
you
when
are
they
liable.
go in,
Once they purchase, then it was agreed.
innovation is like, it doesn't matter if they go in, they accept it, that's it, they done.
If they move forward, great. If they don't, doesn't matter to you.
That's
Novation,
somebody
you're
needs
out of the
responsibility.
picture. Yes.
He needs to find an assignment.
Yes.
In assignment, let's say someone backs out of the deal, who's liable primarily?
The primary liability is who agrees to buy.
The first person.
So if Melody transfers to you, she assigned it to you, then you're primary, she's secondary. Because you've taken on the full liability of purchase. She backed out, so she put you in front. You got it? So you become secondary. She becomes secondary. 26. The word executed, when applied to a contract, means fulfilled. But it also means A, voided, B, signed, C, assigned, or D, expressed. Who says A? Raise your hand. B, C, or D? Okay. Correct answer is B. So the word executed means that we closed, we completed what we were hired to do or what the seller and the buyer agreed to do. But a fully executed contract is when both parties sign. Okay? That's the second way of saying executed. 27. George signs a contract agreeing to sell his house to Debbie. He later changes his mind and refuses to sell. He offers her a few $1,000s to void the contract. But because she wants a particular house, she sues for A, liquidated damages, B, time being of the essence, C, rescission, or D, specific performance.
D, as you explained earlier.
D, as I explained earlier. That's a good answer. Does everybody agree with D? Raise your hand if you agree with D. That's it? Who says A? B, C, correct answer is D. Sue, that's it. So here's the thing. I signed the contract agreeing to sell my house to you, right? But then I said, you know what? I'm not selling anymore. Do I have a legal excuse not to sell? No. So the buyer has options. One of the options is back out. The other option is sue for compensation, right? But what it says here that triggers D is that she wants that particular house. That means she's going to sign for specific performance of the contract. What was the contract for? A sale. So the sue here is for particular property. I want that property. So you are going to sell the property to me. You're not backing out of this.
Of course, like I already
D.
made plans and everything, body's ready, stuff in the parking lot.
Of course, parties and everything. Yes.
See, that's what I thought.
And
that
what is
question
these like
was in.
liquidated
Oh,
damages?
So I'm sorry. Wait. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's what I thought that other question was asking.
Which one?
I made that choice.
Which one? The buyer one?
The one that has the same.
So on the buyer side, that was different. The buyer just decided not to buy. So what the seller is doing out of the options, what the seller is doing is keep the money. Remember, in the question itself, it says settlement or liquidated damages, right? The liquidated damages, which is a settlement, is I keep the money that's already here as a settlement. You see, it's how it's worded. You got to make sure you pay attention to the whole question. One thing and it can throw you off. Ali, you were saying?
I just either you just answer.
Okay.
Liquidated damage.
Teja?
So you associate with liquidated damages to the buyer. And this.
The buyer defaulting. The buyer defaulting, yes. Yeah. But the buyer can also, the seller can force specific performance as well. So that's why it's, I can say, no, you're buying, period. It's just that it talked about liquidated damages or settlements. So it's the money that's already in escrow is now mine. That's why you gave it to me up front. Okay? So, land contract, 28. Land contract is sometimes known as an option agreement, a contract for deed, or purchase money mortgage, or counter offer. Who says A? Who says B? Who says C? How about D? Correct answer is contract for deed, B. And what is a contract for deed? First of all, land contract, I told you to compare to car financing. If it's car financing, then A is definitely not the right one because that's a car lease. Okay? B, contract for deed, means that I'm paying the seller in installments over a period of time. And when do I get the deed? Later on. So write somewhere there, similar to car financing, so you can remember. Okay? All right, guys, quick 5-minute break, please. It's everything there. Horrible. I know, but still.
Yesterday was the first thing I ever What? Well, because I was on my way here, and I was really, really bad, so I just kind of tried to go home some time, so I could still watch live streams and hours.
That's what Mike was that? You couldn't watch live stream already?
I couldn't get signal on it.
Oh,
I was trying to.
They have French fries in here,
Yeah. Starting early. Yeah. But, I mean, at least now,
How's she doing with the month of winter? Like, is she on the outside of it?
I guess when you do like a window, it's.
I think they have like an outside of this.
Yeah, because you can't.
Because you can't do that inside. That can't be done. Right? Like, girl, I mean, it's cute. But I like the show. Listen. I think so, Dave. Okay. Wait, and it's my right. Just so you know.
You just do what you need to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. This is just nonsense, shenanigans. Never have to see.
Why is it being
Right now.
You said this has to be in your room.
Good job.
Wait. You know. I know, I'm losing my hair. So in the meantime, I'm going to continue my forward.
You out, I'm ready to go down.
No, sir. No, sir. No, I just think it is, based on.
Nobody even know that I'm going to leave it back my head down. That's not good. I like it.
Hello.
I'm sure.
She said the DJ is popping, I'm gonna say,
Oh my God. You shouldn't.
This job is, it's not, successful, live by it.
Yeah, so you were here yesterday or not?
So that's the tree, if you still using
yeah, I was on the freaking live and stuff.
Well, that's why a lot of people don't succeed.
But it was a
Crack. Doing something else, because the money takes time. So they'll go work by the hour, $12 an hour. $15 an hour. Because you know you're gonna get paid. Do this. You gotta spend it now. Not waste. But you think that you could hang out close to $10 on the day. That's what, right? Trust me, people want to present their videos more. Almost anything.
How are you?
I see his face now. I see his face now. Like this. I see he see the stuff.
Younger, I think, patient. I know.
It's not everybody, you have to, you know, you
Okay. No, that crash.
I hate that, and then caffeine, and then I'm sort of like, I was like, what is wrong with you?
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I was like, what is that? Sour sauce? Yeah.
Oh.
It's better when it's all natural, it just has too much sugar.
Yeah. I'm gonna press by I thought it was good.
It's sugar.
Yeah, naturally.
I started to drink that. It's very sweet. How much you put in a smoothie? Oh,
You start charging your videos.
yeah. It's not that bad. Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, yeah. You put it right in the smoothie.
Yeah, that is.
All right, you guys ready? Break's over.
No, no. Nobody heard that. I think better.
You think better with gum?
Yeah.
Oh,
But I ate all my gum. Oh, yes, please.
all right. So, 29. We have real estate licensees are allowed to fill out sales contracts for the purchase of A, duplexes, B, option agreements, C, tracts of vacant land, or D, all real estate. Who says A? B, C, D?
said A.
Hey,
I asked A a long time ago.
yeah, but geez.
I did, a 5-minute break. All right. D, can we sell commercial properties? No, so D is off. No, wait. Fill out contracts, I'm sorry. Can we fill out contracts on commercial property? My bad.
Oh, no.
The question, fill out contracts, commercial. The answer is no. So D is out of it. Can we prepare something that's out of the ordinary, like an option agreement? Sorry? We can't. I'm sorry? No, commercial is not there, but it says all real estate. So that involves commercial, industrial.
You know, I had a question on that, because I'm very confused with that one.
I know, that's why you sent me that text.
Yeah, I did.
What about tracts of vacant land? If it's a single lot, we can. A single vacant lot. I'll wait.
You're not lying.
I'm not.
Oh.
Yep, it's live. So tracts of vacant land means a lot of land, a large area of land intended for subdivision. Can we prepare contracts for that? The answer is no. So by process of elimination, we can handle duplexes. We can handle 1 to 4 family and single vacant lots.
That's where I got lost, because to me, duplex is just 2 family. And that's why I
Yeah,
circled
so we're allowed to fill, bless you, we're allowed to fill contracts on 2 families. Everything else, we're not.
Option
It doesn't
agreements.
say that we're
contract,
limited to,
everything
it
else.
just
It doesn't say we're limited. It doesn't say only. Okay? It says licensees are allowed to fill out sales contracts for the purchase of
Duplex, and what else?
That's it.
1 to 4 family or single vacant lot. That's it.
Oh, so we can do commercial?
We cannot prepare contracts for commercial. Look at the question. Contracts. Okay? We cannot prepare contracts. Our contract is a standard contract, 1 to 4 and single vacant
And what
land.
you could do for business purpose?
We don't prepare anything that's out of 1 to 4 family or single lots.
But I remember Shasta, you were saying.
We prepare a letter of intent, just like commercial buildings, just like industrial buildings, just like everything else that's not within 1 to 4 family or single vacant lots. We prepare letter of intent, meaning, Mr. Seller, my buyer intends to buy your property. If they say yes, then the attorneys prepare the contract.
But I get a commission.
You still get, listen, nobody's saying you cannot sell. What we're saying is you cannot prepare contracts.
Only for duplex, by,
No.
2 family.
1 to 4. So single family, 2 family, 3 family, and 4 families, we prepare those contracts because there's so many of those out there that they created a standard contract. And we just fill in the blanks. Single vacant lots, we just fill in the blanks. When it goes to commercial, it's a complicated deal. There's more details to it. When it goes to industrial, complicated deal. If it's multiple lots, complicated deal. So attorneys get involved. We still get paid. We still get our commission because we found the seller or we found the buyer. We just don't prepare the contract. The question is preparing contracts. Yes.
I have a question, but it's not regarding the question. Can I ask now?
The question, but not regarding the question? What do you mean?
Question, but not regarding that question.
What is it in regards to?
Real estate.
Okay. Can you, if it's not regarding this, can you wait a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So 30. in order to be legally enforceable, which contracts must be in writing according to the statute of frauds? What happened? Huh?
Now scroll down.
Let's go there. Okay.
You said 29 was A.
There. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
So 30, sorry. In order to be legally enforceable, which contracts must be in writing according to statute of frauds? A, independent contractor agreements. B, all contracts. C, leases for more than 3 years. Or D, management agreements. Who says A? Who says B? Who says C? How about D?
I said C.
You say CC? Okay. So here's the thing. For those that said A, can I hire you and say, hey, this is what I need to get done, right? It doesn't say independent contract agreement between broker and salesperson. It says independent contractors agreement in general. So my question is, can I hire you to paint here and not prepare a formal contract? Can it be a verbal agreement? The answer is yes. Okay, so it can be verbal. All contracts. If we have verbal and we have written contracts, then do all contracts must be in writing? Have to be in writing? No. So that's definitely not. Leases for more than 3 years. Do they have to be in writing?
Yes.
The answer is yes. They have to be in writing if it's more than
2 years.
3 years. No, 2 years we can record. But if it's more than 3 years contracts, it must be in writing. Okay? 31. C, sorry. 31. The tenant who is renting month to month and wants to move out usually owes how much notice to the landlord? A, none. B, 30 days. C, 1 month from the date before the rent is due. Or D, 2 full months.
C, but why B now?
Can I go through it first? Who says A? Says B. Okay. C. Who says D? All right, cool. So the 30 days are due from the end of the period. So a month to month, yes, it's every 30 days, right? No, because there's 31 days, there's 29 days, right? Remember this. The 30-day notice that I got to give you, the 1 month notice I got to give you is because we ended the period for which the rent is due. So if I say the rent's due on the 5th, then I got until the day before to give you the notice. If I say the rent's due on the 3rd, then I got until the day before to give you the 1 month notice. Okay? It's the period ending. Okay? You cannot just back out of the deal halfway. You have to complete it and then give the notice. The same way the landlord cannot come into the middle of the month and say, hey, 30 days, you got to be out. The landlord also has to respect the same terms. Wait until whatever the period ends, give you that 30-day notice. Do you guys understand? Otherwise, it's a short notice. Good? 32. C. 32. A security deposit minus itemized deductions for damages must be returned to the departing tenant. As the tenant moves out, within 1 week of the end of the lease, no more than 30 days after the end of the lease, or within 2 months. Who says A? Who says B? C or D? This is Jones. Did you raise your hand twice? A and C?
I was like the same.
And you did too?
I forgot.
I thought your hand was just there. Okay. So
My answer is D.
the correct answer is C. Why? Because again, as I said, go ahead, sorry. You know the answer?
I think so,
All right.
because he said, if you give the tenant the money immediately,
and then you go into the space and you check it out, and if they say something, then
So
Usually like the landlords know they go the same day.
the concept is kind of right, but the answer is still off. Yes. Well, what are you throwing?
No, the reason why it is 30 days, because you need time to inspect the property, and if there is damage to the property, you must notice the tenant, let them know there's gonna be deducted and how much and the timing that it takes with all. It's not gonna be right away, it's not gonna be a week, it could take, so 30 days, it allows you, it gives
Okay.
a window, I think.
So
Yes.
you're in tune with what Tasia was saying. There's one piece missing. So it's correct. There's just one piece missing there. All right. See, as the tenant moves out, can the tenant move out at any time? No. So definitely wrong, right? Within 1 week of the end of the lease, not enough time. So that will be your answer to eliminate this. Okay. Within 2 months, that's too long. Definitely not. The reason why it's C, in line with what you're saying, we need enough time to inspect. But the key here is what I said in the previous question. When does the term end? And that's when we count the days. Because you can move out on the 15th, but the term only ends on the 30th. It's 30 days after the end of your term with me. So it gives me enough time. If you left on the 30th, no problem, 30 days. If you left on the 15th, then I got 45 days. Does that make sense? So the key thing here is after the end of the lease, I must give you at least 30 days to return the deposit to me. You can leave at any time, but I had until the end of the lease. When does the lease end? It's not when you move out, it's whatever the contract says, lease ended. Okay? Got it? Ready? You guys good?
Real quick question. What about if I'm selling my house and I have tenants? Can I ask them to move
If,
with 30 days?
what do you mean? Sorry, go back.
If I have a house, right, and I'm gonna sell it, but I'm renting it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So you have an investment property you want to sell, but there's tenants there, and you want them to move before the sale.
No,
Is that it?
did I have to tell them with 30 days per,
Tell them what?
like told them that I'm gonna sell the house?
Oh, you should notify your tenants that you're gonna sell the house so you can
Within
show the
30
house.
days.
Nope. I'm gonna list the property right now. Tenants, I'm intend to sell the property. I'm gonna be showing the property. I need your cooperation to show the property. It could take a year to sell the property, but I gotta give you notice when at least 24-hour notice to show the property. That's it. To show,
Okay, 24 hours.
at least 24-hour notice.
By writing?
Well, preferably in writing.
Okay. And what about if the person don't wanna buy the house with attendance? Well, I have to ask them.
Then you have to give enough
30
notice.
30 days
So
from the,
ideal is that you give at least 60 days. But yes, you're only required to give 1 month notice if it's a month-to-month tenancy.
and I will have to do that as a seller, I have to do that, not the buyer.
You have to do it, yeah. Mhm. So you should have your attorney, whoever's representing you in the sale, should write that letter to the tenant. Okay? 33. If rental property is sold, the tenant's security deposits must be A, returned, B, turned over to the new landlord, C, placed in a non-interest bearing account, or D, doubled. Who says A? B? C?
I feel like this is-
Or D?
We spoke about this yesterday or something.
We did. Say it again. B? Janine,
Yes.
why A?
I just.
Returned?
It just sounds like, you know.
What she would
If the
prefer.
property was
Like courtesy
sold,
of tenant.
if the property was sold, the new landlord must receive that deposit and notify the tenant that they have their money in a interest-bearing account and at Bank of America or at TD Bank or at Wells Fargo, whatever bank you have.
As a tenant, I agree with her, they should return it to me, but yeah,
No, because you're still there.
I know, but I'm saying.
You're still
I know
there.
B is a correct answer, but as a tenant, I would prefer to be back.
Of course you'd prefer, but you're still there. Mrs. Jones, what was your question?
No, I picked that, I just think it's,
You had to pick what?
I picked B.
B? Okay.
I do
So,
have a
Yeah, but
question,
remember
but
that, you know, I said enough of the.
hold on. Yes.
No, it's gonna be amended. We'll get to it.
Oh, it's coming up. Okay, yes.
Remember that setting about my house, because now he's losing out the house for the bank. So what about our deposit?
In situation where there's a foreclosure, guys, things get a little complicated. See, the bank is acquiring the property as is, and that's why in every foreclosure, you should be notified that there is a foreclosure going on. As a tenant, whether it's a seasoned tenant or new tenant, you should be notified that there's a foreclosure going on the property. Why? So you can protect yourself from this. Any deposits, the bank is not liable for. Because who has the money? Is it the bank? No, it's the old owner. The old owner is losing the property. Do you think they're going to transfer money? Hey, I lost my property, but here's a deposit from the tenants. Technically, they have to, but will they? So it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Now, are you as a tenant going to go after it for $1,500 or $2,000? Going to go after somebody? It's going to cost you more in attorney fees. No, but I'm just saying it's going to cost you more in attorney fees. So here's the good news. If you leave and the owner is the bank, you might not have to pay anything back either if the property is not in the tip-top shape. Because here's the good news. The bank doesn't know what was the original shape either. So you can say, hey, this was already like this. Like the house is falling. Man, I don't know. Wasn't me.
Not my monkey.
Not my monkey. All right. Next. 34. Yes.
The situation is put in class where you said that sometimes the money is placed into an interest-bearing account.
Not sometimes. It has to. Any secure deposit received by the tenant must be placed into an interest-bearing account.
Yes, it's a non-interest.
That's why it's incorrect. If it said interest-bearing account, it'll possibly. You're pointing at something.
Yeah, she's too quiet today. I heard her yesterday the whole life.
I'm tired. I was here at 9 o'clock and I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
Me too, we've been waiting for.
34. Speaking of 4.
So what did we?
8. Huh?
We decided on,
What did we decide on?
we were going back and forth about the return.
No, it was B.
B. Turn.
34. A lease cannot become binding until the tenant has received a lead-based paint disclosure statement for any A, commercial property, B, shopping plaza, C, apartment house, or D, residential property built before 1978. Give me a second. Who says A?
Jesus, why would I have to go?
Because there has to be an explanation here. I want to be able to eliminate any questions that you might have. Who says A? B? I'm not rolling my eyes. I'm tired too.
Okay.
You just get cut.
All right. So
Right?
Is that your cat doctor?
That is money.
Who is options 4? What do you say? Who's options 4? AM.
Oh, no.
who hasn't slept?
Why don't you?
So A, thank you.
You're showing homes at 3 a.m.?
Let's go back to this. A, who says A? B, C, or D? Why is it D?
Porque 1978.
Good. You don't have to know anything else. 1978.
That pin, 1978, that's it.
You said,
Before,
God, there's just
before.
one 1978. Make sure you get that right.
Left
Pink.
pin, 1978.
I said there's
that's correct.
one. That was for race and color. Okay, it works. It works. Fine.
Left pin, all I see is left pin before 1978 is D.
All right. Perfect.
That's right. Y'all did good.
Very good, actually. 35. In most cases, circle most cases. Just a quick warning, in the state exam, listen to me. In the state exam, it does not have most cases in capital.
Oh my goodness.
So if you don't pay attention, that's why I'm telling you right now, circle. Is so you pay attention when you're reading the questions. There's always something that triggers, and that's what I've been showing so far, right? There's something that triggers the correct answer. So in most cases, the store that rents space in a shopping mall is on what type of lease? A, gross, B, ground, C, percentage, or D, periodic?
C, and I was surprised by it.
C
I
what?
don't know. The C.
All right, who says A? Who says B? Who says C? Who says D? All right. So here's the thing.
I thought, can I say something?
Yes.
I thought that all on the mall, like, right, they all have a lease, and doesn't matter what it is yourself, like, you have to pay the lease on the amount, right? Because why I thought it was like that, because some clothes, they close, so why they close if they only pay a percentage of what they sell?
They don't pay just a percentage. They pay a flat fee plus percentage. The difference is they pay a low fee plus percentage. In most shopping plazas we have, or retail, we have percentage leases. It's an incentive-based program. So if you go to the mall, and years ago I was trying to rent a space at Jersey Gardens Mall, it's just that I didn't do it because they wanted me in all 9 malls. So I said no. I was not ready for that. My background is IT, so I was opening up a computer repair store inside the mall where there's like 1 million people walking in every day. And my assistants were remote. So all I needed was a person to do sales and somebody else to work from a different country. Anyway, was not ready for it. Plus servicing the 200 and something stores they have. Yeah, crazy. Please tell me all that time you brought for everybody. It was smelling good from down there.
Special delivery. I can share.
Yes.
What is the difference between the ground lease and the land?
Ground lease
Is
and?
that what it's called, the ground lease and land?
No, ground is a terra lease or leasing the grounds itself. So yes, it's a land lease. If you want to think of it that way, it's the same thing.
Okay.
You're just leasing the land
Right.
and then somebody builds on it.
And when
Okay.
they build on
Guys,
it,
questions?
and when they build on it, that comes what?
No, it's a ground lease. You just rent
It's
it.
still a ground lease.
That's it.
Building on it, okay.
See, I own the land.
Mhm.
You're the one that builds on it and rents for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Okay.
It's still a ground lease. If you sublease to other tenants, that's on you. I rented the lot. That's
And
it.
it's still a ground lease if it was a farm, for example, too.
If it was a farm,
Yeah.
well, it is and it isn't. It all depends on the purpose. So did I rent the farm to you? Allowed you to farm on my land, or did I lease with the purpose of you doing whatever you want and you happen to do farming?
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? Because if I already have it as a farm, I'm renting you the business.
no, say you didn't do that.
Okay, you saw land, farm, yep, do whatever you want.
And what type of lease is that called? The same
That would
thing?
be a ground lease.
Okay.
Good? Yes.
Our question was about ground lease, what about gross?
It's the residential rental lease. You pay me $1,500 a month, but as a landlord, I'm the one responsible for taxes, insurance, damages, maintenance, all that stuff. Okay? You good?
Might as well do zero, periodic, okay.
Periodic is just month to month. It could be a gross, it could be a ground, it could be a percentage. The month to month is periodic.
Wait, the periodic,
Do me a favor. Not picking on you. It's just that the microphone in the back picks up all that stuff. So just whatever's in the bag, just take it out. Yeah, I was just saying, whatever's in the bag you want to take out now, please. And if you're gonna do it, do the same right now. Because otherwise, every time you move, it crackles right there. And it sucks. I don't understand, but from the people that are listening at home, those are most of the comments. That for some reason, the mic is here in the front, but from some reason, from here back, so especially here, every little noise you guys make, it's heard.
Jealousy.
Better than me.
Jealousy, because yesterday I couldn't hear you drinking your water. Every time you'd be like. Asia, what was your question?
I cannot. That was funny. So periodically.
Either jealous, hungry.
Yes.
You want some? Oh my gosh, okay, so the
Thank you.
periodic lease, is that
Later.
in comparison to like the stores that come seasonally?
Forget that.
Okay,
Periodic lease, or estate from period to period is a periodic lease, or estate for years. Those are the differences. So here, it has nothing to do with the other 3 answers.
okay,
So in a retail store, you can have a periodic lease, or you can have an estate for years, a definite period. In a residential, you could have your gross lease right there. Could be month to month, so periodic, or it could be a 1-year lease. Okay?
So what is it?
I'm not saying don't worry about periodic. I'm saying that in this particular question, it has nothing to do with it. Month to month, week to week, year to year. That's all it is. Day to day. It's just that periodic means there's a period of time, Rafael, and it renews. As long as you pay and as long as I allow you to stay there. That's all it is. Yes.
Is it good investing in on a commercial property? Like,
It's good investing in everything. It all depends on the purpose. No, we're 36 now.
What was that?
Because it's not a, we'll address that later. It's not this. If it's good to invest, everything is good to invest. But I'll explain investment questions after. I need to go through the review. So any other questions you guys have, I don't mind addressing. Just save it for later so we can go over these.
So every investor is
36.
35.
I already did 35. You'll see. 36 in some states. 36 in some states. Instead of mortgages, the borrower sign A, reduction certificates, B, trust deeds, C, defeasance clauses, or D, estoppel certificates. Who says A? B? C? D. Your face is priceless. D. All right. Correct answer is B, trust deeds. I told you guys that in non-judicial states, they have trust deeds. And the difference between mortgage and a trust deed is that in non-judicial states, they don't go through courts to foreclose. So they can recover the property way faster. That's the difference. Okay? They are the same. So you can put there in front of trust deeds, you're going to write similar to mortgages. 37. If a mortgage pledges the property as security for a loan, what document serves as a personal promise to repay the debt? A, the note or bond. B, a trust deed. C, an estoppel certificate. Or D, a subordination agreement. Who says A? Raise your hand. Cool. Who says B? She goes like halfway. I don't know. Who says C? And D? Okay. Correct answer is A, because it says a mortgage pledges the security. So the mortgage is the lien itself. But the loan, every time you hear the word loan, that means there was a promise to pay.
I was about to say that.
Right? So promise to pay is a promissory note, or because it's a promise, it's the bond. Right? Good? Yes. The estoppel certificate is I cannot go after you anymore, or I transferred the rights to you. That's it. So I cannot collect from it anymore either. I'm stopped from anything else.
Just stop.
Yeah, think about stop. There's a stop somewhere.
Yeah.
38. A buyer who takes over a mortgage already owned property is not, circle not, please,
It's not gonna be in the state.
personally responsible for the debt if he or she, A, assumes the loan, B, takes the title subject to the loan, C, receives a reduction certificate, or D, signs a satisfaction certificate. Who says it's A? B? C? D? Who's confused?
A.
The rest. All right. Let me break down the question. It says the buyer who takes over the mortgage already on the property. That means you assumed or bought subject to. Those are the two ways you take over. Say it again. So take over. Give me a second. I'm getting there. So you're taking over somebody else's mortgage. It's already there. You either assuming or buying subject to. And the question is not personally responsible for the debt if he or she. When we assume a mortgage, that means we notified all parties involved that there's somebody taking over. If there's somebody taking over, we are assuming also liability. If you're buying subject to a current mortgage on the property, did we write, or did we notify in any way, shape, or form anybody that we're taking over? The answer is no. So the one where we say we didn't notify the bank is usually not personally liable. So the correct answer is B. Take the title subject to. The only two possible answers here would be A or B. So if they said primary liability, then the answer would have been A. Because they say not personally responsible, it's subject to. That means I took over your loan, but never told the bank. What that means, I'm just making payments for you, and nobody knows that I'm here. You got it? In the other one, A, we told everybody that we're here.
But,
Question?
but wouldn't the bank need to be notified that you're the new owner of the property?
No, you didn't.
They don't need to. It depends on your intention. Are you buying subject to,
But
or are you
still-
assuming?
But on the title, it's already mine, right?
So let me explain something about title. Title is a search of who's the current owner and the previous owner and who has rights to the property. Deed.
I'm sorry.
Deed. No, but I just want to make sure you guys know this. Deed is what transfers. So in this scenario, we get a deed at the transfer. So we are technically the owners, but the bank is still the lien holder on the property. So you can still lose your property if you fail to make payments. And that's why it's asking about liability. Okay? Sorry, you had a question? Okay. Any questions? Good. 39. Says the buyer of foreclosed real estate at a public auction receives the property free of A, all liens, B, everything except unpaid property taxes, C, any liens junior to the one being foreclosed, or D, any liens except those on record. Who says A? B, C, or D?
I
Okay.
have said B.
I'm sorry?
I have said B, but I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Okay, so let's explain this right here. It says here, the buyer of a foreclosed real estate. So at sheriff's sale, you won the auction, right? You're the winning bidder, right? You get the property, but you're still going to be responsible for unpaid property taxes, right? But you're still responsible, right, to pay, and that's what the money comes from, to pay the loan that's present. So your money goes to pay that. And that's what's going to release the mortgage. All junior liens, however, all ending liens, they're like secondary liens, because they're smaller. If there's not enough payments, if there's not enough money there to satisfy the liens, all those get wiped out. So the money that you raised in your bid to pay is to pay the first mortgage. Okay? All junior liens are wiped out, and that's what you release from the property at auction.
Consider junior liens.
Secondary liens, whoever comes after. First lien is whoever records first. If you recorded second, you become a secondary or junior lien.
Oh.
Oh.
That's where recording comes in.
So any liens junior to the one being foreclosed, because the foreclosed lien is the one we're satisfying with our bid. Does that make sense now? Okay. I know this one's confusing because it says B would be one of the answers, right? It says everything except unpaid property taxes. So you're free of everything on the property. That means I don't have to pay anybody other than the taxes. No, your money went to pay something. It's to release whoever's foreclosing.
Right.
Okay? The answer is C. You're releasing the primary, and you're still responsible for taxes and all that stuff. What you're releasing is any junior liens. That you're not responsible for at all. Okay? Questions? Good. 40. The mortgage lender may also be known as A, a payer, B, hypothecator, C, mortgagor, or D, mortgagee. Who says A? Raise your hand. B, raise your hand. C, how about D? Okay. Mortgagor, every time you see OR, that's the owner of the property. Every time you see E is whoever receives the property but gave up money. So who gave up money in this transaction? The mortgage lender. So who's the E? The lender. So the correct answer is D. Mortgagor, grantor, lessor is the owner of the property. Okay? Grantee is the buyer. Lessee is a tenant. Mortgagee is the bank. They all three receive the property, but give up money. So all the E's are the people that receive the property, but give up money. Remember that. Sorry?
I'm sorry.
I'm going to start calling you people hypothecators. How about that?
What is that?
Whoever places hypothecation.
Really?
That's what it says. 41. 41. Don and David are divorced. Underline divorced. This is how you do it. This is how you read the questions. Break it down. You're not going to be able to do it in the exam on the computer, but you're going to have a piece of paper. So write down key things so you know exactly how to answer. So divorced, first key thing to look at. Now David, the ex-husband, signs a deed turning over his share of the house to Dawn, the ex-wife. A few years later, she is unable to make the mortgage payments. The bank may try to collect the unpaid debt from A, no one after the property is sold at foreclosure, B, Dawn only, C, David only, or D, both Dawn and David. Who says A? Raise your hand if you say A. Who says B? C? How about D? Cool. So here's the thing. For those of you that said A, so you're trying to tell me that nobody's responsible for this payment. As far as B and C, if you guys read what it says in the question, it says that they were married at the time that they acquired the property.
Yeah, but
Wait. Let me finish explaining. They were married, weren't they?
Oh, yes.
That's the key right there. They were married. Okay? So it says right there they were married and they got divorced. It doesn't say that in the divorce, they separated liability. See, I can sell whatever I want to you. I just told you that in assuming, right? Remember I said assuming a mortgage and buying subject to? Guess what the wife just did, the ex-wife? She took subject to. Okay? That was a transfer in the deed. That was it. Okay? So who's liable for this? Both of them, because they were married at the time that they acquired the property. If the question does not state that they were released from liability, then doesn't matter how many times we divorce. Doesn't matter what I sell to you or I don't sell. The bank has nothing to do with your divorce. Unless the bank agrees in some type of agreement with the attorneys to release liability. In a mortgage, if both people get involved, both people are liable. And that's what sucks later on. You're already in the third relationship after that, and you're still dealing with, Yep.
What do you mean, like,
Give me a second. Yasmin? Okay.
What is, David signs that he turned over his share of the house to the Dawn, his wife.
A quit claim deed.
He gave, his quarter.
Do you guys remember what a quit claim deed was?
Wait, what?
You're quitting a claim. That's all. You are quitting a claim. The bank never said, oh, you quit the claim, I'll quit my claim. It's not guaranteed. In the quit claim deed, you transfer the interest, if any, in the property. The person buying might not have acquired anything at all. See, in the quit claim deed, guys, remember, a sale has nothing to do with the lender. A deed is a transfer. It's a sale. Has nothing to do with the lender. The lender still says, well, on my records, I see Dawn, I see David. Nobody told us. Otherwise, we would have said, assume the mortgage. If it said formally assumed mortgage, that would have been different. Okay, because it doesn't say formally assumed mortgage. David got out of the deed. That's all it is. He quit the claim to the deed. That's it. Meaning David cannot enter into that house and say, hey, Dawn, you sold the property, you made money, where's my cut? The lien holder is the bank. Has nothing to do with the divorce, has nothing to do with deeds or transfers. So they still going after whoever they have on record as people responsible. Does that make sense? Yes?
Yeah.
Cool.
I wonder if David knew that. Probably did.
Well, tell me, raise your hand if any of you knew this.
Well, yeah, I just know.
No, you don't have to be in a situation to know something about it.
No,
Okay.
but we're not the ones who have to deal with it.
I mean, you probably know, but once you go through it, and you will never forget it.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys are 42. Final run. We're almost there. We only got 8 more to go. 42. Prepayment penalties for those who want to pay their mortgage loans off earlier than scheduled are limited in New Jersey to
Come on.
A. Oh, now you want to rush? A. No charge. B. 1% of the outstanding debt. C. 2% of the debt, but only within the first year of the loan. Or D. Prepayments are not allowed in New Jersey.
Why you gonna get mad if I pay you early?
Who says A? Who says B? C or D? So yes, the correct answer is no charge, because in New Jersey, so it's the opposite of D. In New Jersey, the bank cannot charge you any fees if you prepay. And to answer yours real quick, why would they get mad if you pay early? Because you pay less interest.
Yeah.
See, interest, that charge that's being put against the mortgage, it's over 30 years. So if you carry the money over 30 years, you pay me X amount in interest. If you pay it off in 5 years, then you pay way less in interest.
So,
So I make less money.
and who make you a bank?
Yes,
You just have to like let them know, right?
that I'm prepaying. Somebody's going to let them know. I mean, the money's going there.
They prepare me with the full, not a monthly payment.
Say louder.
Just a credit card.
You just send extra money. That's it. You pay less interest, just like credit cards.
You did a question because, like you said, if you like, you said if we are sending more to the, principal.
You just got to notify that it's towards principal. That's it. Yes. 43. Yes. You don't pay the same interest. If you have a credit card and you send more than the minimum payment, do they charge the same amount of interest? They're going to charge on the lesser amount, not the full amount. If you have a 30-year loan, the interest rate of 6%, you're actually paying double the property. But if you pay in 10 years, you're paying probably 20% in interest versus the whole 100. Okay?
Interest is charged like every month.
Interest is charged on a yearly basis, but yes, they break it down monthly as well. Yeah, so interest is annual, then they break it down monthly.
Yeah, but if you call the bank, they have a through date, so that'll be your final, that's what you owe.
That's the
them.
payoff statement.
Yeah.
Correct. But if you don't pay off until that day, you pay the next day, they can only charge you 1 day of interest. So interest is broken down for what you need. Okay? On the cell phones, you're not, guys not getting answers. Just letting you know. 43. The illegal charging of an unreasonably high rate of interest is known as A, default, B, estoppel, C, usury, or D, hypothecation.
Usury.
Raise your hand if you say A, B, C, or D. Okay. Illegal charge. Every time you see illegal charge, the answer is usury. illegal charge is usury, is where they taking advantage of you by charging illegal high rates of interest. Usury, sorry. They're using you, yes. Say again? They use you, they abuse you, all that.
No, it's
Yes.
usury. It's not the same.
It's the same.
I've been waiting for
Yes,
this.
yes.
Oh, I'll get there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. All right. 44. 44. The seller has agreed to pay 2 points to the bank in return for the buyer securing a mortgage loan on a house worth $225,000 with a 10% down payment. How much will this cost the seller? So for this, I need you guys to do math. But before you start doing the math, put your phones down for a second as I'm explaining. Before you do the math, I want you to tell me what is a point.
What you got?
A dot. That is the best one. A percent of what?
Of the, interest. So for you to pay less interest?
It's 1% of what?
100.
No. Anybody? Nope. A point is a percent of the loan amount, not the purchase price. Remember, I drilled that so many times that day. A point is a percent of the loan amount, not the purchase price. With that being said, how much are they buying the house for? $225,000.
Yeah.
But that's the purchase. Is that what we use the points?
No.
No. The points are 90% of that value because the loan is the balance after the down payment.
90%?
Because the loan is the balance after the down payment. How much is the down payment?
10%.
10%. So $225,000 minus 10%, how much is it? What is it?
4,050.
Wait, no.
Okay, guys. What was the answer that you got?
4,050.
That's
Oh.
10%. That's 90%. I asked you guys 225 minus 10%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 225, right, minus 22,500. That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
22 minus 10%.
It's 2025. And now you apply the 2 points times 2%.
It is 4.
The answer should be D.
Yes, sir.
That's where I was.
I didn't get that.
Okay.
Subtract.
Yeah, that's that.
Minus down payment. 22 minus 10. 22,500 minus 10%.
So here's what we got. D. Here's what we got, guys. Guys, I'm putting on the screen, so it'll be easier. The seller agreed to pay 2 points. 2 points equals 2% of loan, right? We agreed to this? 2% of the loan, not the purchase price. Put the phones down, no calculations, look at the screen for me. Okay, so we go step by step. So 2 points is 2% of the loan. Next, it says that they're buying the house for $225,000. This is the purchase price. And this is the reason why things go sour. Nobody listens. So, $225,000 is the purchase price. Got it? 10% is the down payment. What is LTV, loan to value? Anybody? It's not here, but what is LTV? Does anybody know?
It's what?
LTV,
LTV.
loan to value.
Thank you. I said that as well, but what is it?
What the house is.
Not what it means, what is it?
What the house is actually worth.
No.
They what the amount, the more amount?
Its purchase price minus down payment is the LTV. In this case, the difference is 90%. So, I want you to put on your calculator step by step. Calculators now. Now's the time to use the calculator. 225,000 minus 10%. I'm just saying about the LTV because if they gave you LTV and you need to know down payment, it's the opposite. What did you get? What is it? 22,500. That's what you got? 225,000 minus 10%.
22,000.
You have to,
Yes,
that's
That's
so you have to subtract that from the total.
I'm saying minus. I didn't say times.
No, I know,
Oh,
but the
so
way you
Is
did.
my calculator different?
Minus. Are you saying after we get that value to subtract it? That's
Yeah, there you
All
go.
right, let's see if you guys look at me and focus on me for a second. On your calculator, you're going to put 225,000. And then don't touch anything else. There's a minus button on your calculator. Touch the minus and then stop. Touch the minus. Okay, but not everybody got it. So I want to make sure we're the same. Touch the minus and you're going to put 10%. So put 10 and do the percent. It's not going to give you 22,500 because I didn't ask you for 10%. What was it? I asked you for 225 minus the 10%.
So you have to press equal to get the second one.
And now it gives you what?
But let me show you. Let me show you because maybe my calculator is different than yours.
Oh, you have an iPhone.
Okay, excuse me.
If you guys don't hit
Let's
equal.
go back here. Let's go back here. So minus 10%, 22,500 equal.
But it's the equal that I want to know, the result.
Yeah, but like
I didn't
that's
say
how
equal.
that number came and you act like that number wasn't even exist.
It's not. It's not that it doesn't exist. I didn't ask for the 10%.
You eat all the fries. He's a lazy.
What was the number? 202? 500. This right here is the loan.
Right.
How much did you give down payment? That's the 22,500. But what I need to know is the loan. And this, guys, is the reason why I need a regular calculator for math. Because Android calculates it automatically. iPhones, you got to hit equal. And the good thing is that calculators, the basic calculators, you also have to hit equal. So you wouldn't get confused. And I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to, look, when you go to the exam, you cannot bring your phone. So you need to know that equal is going to have to be pressed. Equals something.
Okay, Samsung.
Okay? Thank God for Samsung. It gives you all the answers. Yes.
No, Bruno.
Yes,
If you know if you take the amount from the initial PP, whatever that.
Purchase price.
Purchase price, and you subtract the 10% from it, as if like, all right, you times it by the 10%, right? You know it's 22,500. You take 22,500 from the 225,000, you get 202,500.
I was giving you a shortcut. You want to go the long way? It's fine as well.
No, what I'm saying is like.
No. I'm giving you a shortcut. You want to go the long way? Whatever. To me, what matters is that you got to this result, and that's why I wanted you to stop right here. This is the loan. That's where you need to get to in this question. The down payment does not matter at all in this question. I need you to get to 202,500 because this is the loan. And the 2 points is what we need to figure out. 2 points is what?
2%.
Of what? The loan. So what is 2% of the loan? 4,050. So the answer is D.
45. Thank you.
Moving forward.
So we never had that.
All right. And now I have to say something because I will have to always say something, right? That's my way of being. So for those of you losing your patience, at one wait. For those of you losing your patience with people asking questions, math is not for everybody. Just like everything else is not for everybody. Give me a second. If you're good at answering this question, you got it, great. Some people are slower in math. Some people are faster in everything else. Okay? And you're asking me before about rolling the eyes. It's not just me. I'm trying to say that everybody here at one point is rolling their eyes. Not everybody captures information the same way that you do. For some things, you are great. For other things, you suck. It's just the way we are. So if I stop to answer a million times, I will. But just give me an opportunity to answer. When I get frustrated, and the reason why I'm losing my patience a little bit is because I'm answering something and you guys are on your phones or distracted with something else. So if I'm explaining something, I expect everybody to stop and help me. If you are talking to somebody else, then the person I'm explaining to will not understand because they're distracted, just the same way that I'm distracted. My point is, if I have to stay here until midnight after and explain, I will. I have no problem explaining stuff and staying here. I'll always stay later. Some of you have stayed here after class, and I never complained about it. Okay? During class, I hope you respect the same way that I'm respecting, which is stop touching stuff that's not related. Stop asking questions that's not related. I will address it after. I got no problem. I'll stay here for as long as you guys want answering. And that's the part where I'm getting frustrated. Okay, that's it. It's not about you asking the questions over and over and over again. That I will find a million ways to explain. Okay, even if I have to do backflips, which I can't, if that's the only way for you to understand, I will still find a way to do it. Huh? If I do a backflip, I'll stay right here. All right. I won't even get to the flip part. The back is already done. All right. So I hope you understand my point, what I'm trying to get at. Okay. Next, and don't get offended. So that's the main thing. Next, we have to understand question 44 because of this question. So in the preceding question, 44, any points paid are income tax deductible by A, the buyer only, B, the seller only, C, the buyer and seller only, I'm sorry, each in full, or the buyer and seller half by each. So they split half. Who says it's A? B? C? D? Some of you just won't, you were confused? Is that what it is for the question?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So again, question 44 says the buyer has to pay points, but the seller is willing to contribute, right? So who is responsible for points?
No, it says the seller.
No.
The buyer.
Seller has agreed.
Yeah.
But is the seller's responsibility to pay anything on the mortgage?
No.
The buyer is. So when I said the buyer has to, is because it's on the buyer's loan. But the seller did agree, hey, I'll help you. Okay, but who has to pay the points?
The buyer.
The buyer. So who is responsible for any tax on these points?
The buyer.
The buyer. Okay, so the correct answer is A. Okay, where did you get confused?
I got confused because it said the seller agreed to pay. It doesn't say anything about the buyer. It doesn't say anything about buyers, so the seller agreed to pay.
Agree, so it's voluntary.
Right, but that is implying to me that they're paying.
No, they paid.
Right, so for them to say, then in a
All right.
preceding question, to reference the preceding question, in doing so, I would assume that it was the seller, not the buyer.
Then the question is income tax. So who received that as income, as a benefit? Who received the points as an income? Who got paid for?
Are you asking?
Yeah.
Who got paid for the
If I paid the points for you, wasn't that a benefit for you?
seller paid the points for the buyer,
Correct. So wasn't that a benefit for you?
for the buyer?
Yeah. So who's responsible for taxes on that benefit?
Oh, after the buyer?
Yes.
Okay.
Got it? Good? Questions?
Is that really fair?
Wait, does the buyer pay back the seller for doing that or no?
So there's seller's concession, guys. Seller's concession is when the seller can contribute towards something. If it's volunteered, then why would I pay back?
Okay.
Got it? So unless they said something like they made a separate agreement of an installment, it's a second mortgage. It becomes a second mortgage. In this case, they agreed to pay, period.
We just want to be nice.
Well, it's actually to make sure that the loan, the deal actually goes through. That's what it is, to secure the mortgage loan.
But the seller kind of looks money out.
Do they really?
I mean, they gave because they sell, but.
So they made money. So these situations don't happen in today's market as much. Because in today's market, the seller can ask whatever they want. It's a seller's market. In a buyer's market, when there's not enough buyers, but a lot of sellers, sellers are desperate. So you know what? You're the prime candidate to buy my property. But to help you secure the loan, I'm going to pay the points for you. So I'm helping you so you can help me. So I agreed.
Usually does that happen when the seller's in a rush to sell?
As well.
Mm.
46. So anytime the seller needs, they'll come up with something like this. If a mortgage debt grows gradually larger instead of being paid down, the borrower has A, a buy down, B, a straight loan, C, negative amortization, or D, an adjustable interest rate. Who says A? B, C, D. So, what does amortization mean? Debt. What'd you say? Accumulation? No, amortization is killing off slowly. So mort means death, and you're killing off the loan with every single payment. So it's reducing the debt until the loan dies, until the balance is zero. Here it says if the mortgage debt grows instead of being paid down, then it's doing the reverse. So what's doing, it's C, negative amortization. Instead of dying down, it's increasing. Okay? You got it?
I mean that they're not paying?
No. So you guys remember adjustable rate mortgages?
Mm-hmm.
Adjustable rate mortgages are variable mortgages, right? That means that today you're paying something, but then 6 months from now, you could be paying something else every month.
Yeah, they will raise your,
They could raise or they could lower. But the difference of what they were able to raise and what they should have raised, right? Because they might have increased too much. No, it's not points. So let's say that the market is 2%, your interest, the margin is 2%, so the bank is charging you 4% interest. If the market goes up 10%, you get into what's called payment shock. Payment shock means you can never afford to pay it. It's like you went from $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month. And that is a crazy change in charges. Okay? Rafael, you got it so far? Okay. So to prevent that payment shock, they created a limit, and that's a cap, or a ceiling if it's the lifetime cap of the loan. The problem is every time it exceeds the cap in terms of markets, the bank is losing. There's three things the bank can do. Use the loss and adjust in the next period when the market goes down, right? Or absorb the loss and say, hey, don't worry about it. Or the most common thing to happen is negative amortization. They take their loss for that period and add to the principal of the loan. So this only happens in variable loans where they cannot charge you the full amount because of that ceiling or the cap in any adjustment. You guys remember this?
yeah.
Rafael? You good? Ask the question.
You said amortization
Amortization means,
clean off slowly.
yes,
So negative means the opposite.
you're resurrecting the debt.
So
One is dying, the other one's being risen.
resurrects as increases.
Increases, yes. It's alive again. You thought you were paying it down, and all of a sudden, it's there.
What it was positive.
Then it went down.
And you said there are good deals, but,
Short term.
refinance. Yes, it's a good deal, but for short deals.
Yeah.
You can refinance when you get to the, 6-month period or whatever period.
No, when it's low. You refinance as soon as it's, like right now is a great market to get out of an adjustable rate mortgage because the interest rates are so low. Okay?
Yeah. Yes, but you said like they will lock it for 6 months and then you should try to get out before the 6 months.
No, they lock for 6 months or 1 year or 10 years, whatever was agreed in the original agreement, period. You should get out of it as soon as possible. That's what I said. As soon as, like if you locked the rates in 2009, Those rates were at 10%. Right now, the rates are at 3, almost 4%. So do you think it's a good time to get out of this one?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. So as soon as possible. Is it possible to get out when the market keeps on going up? No. So as soon as it drops, you get out. Rafael, were you here for that mortgage class? I don't think you were, right? Yeah. So
Whenever I see negative amortization.
and understand this. So going back to what you were saying, understand this. When you're paying it down, you're making positive payments to reduce the debt. If it's coming back up, it's negative against you. Is that good? Okay. I just threw that one right now. The answer is C, negative amortization. So you want a positive debt. That's what we're saying. Of the loan. 47. Below market, interest rates are offered to qualified borrowers by A, NJHMFA, B, HUD and FHA, C, VA, or D, PITI. Who says A? B? C? How about D? Okay. So PITI means peace.
No.
Okay.
I agree with A,
Give me a second.
but I have a question.
Okay. Cool. So PITI means principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So it has nothing to do with below market or above market. Scratch it out. Get out of there, right? VA, they offer market rates. What they do is guarantee the loan. So definitely out of here. FHA, they insure the loan, but they don't change the rates. The bank gives you the loan. They don't change rates. So definitely out of here. So by process of elimination, even if you don't know NJHFFA, right? That's the correct answer. Now, New Jersey Housing Mortgage and Finance Agency, what they do is help low and moderate income people to invest in their own property, to become homeowners. So as an incentive, right, this was at the end of chapter 14. As an incentive, the last page, as an incentive, they offer a way to buy down the interest rate, and the down payment could also be little or nothing. So whenever you see below market interest rates, think about this one, NJ, whatever. So just go NJ, whatever. I'm sorry?
What is MFA?
If you say just MFA, it sounds bad. HMFA. So Housing Mortgage Finance Agency.
Why is it that?
I can't say live, but you know. Yes.
Are, like, when they build like those condominiums and, let's say, like, for example, Harbor Town, they're meant to have like a section where these people can come in, like the moderate,
So
finance, agency?
what happens is, if the township does not have their 20% set aside, as an example, 20% set aside for low moderate income as mandated by Mount Laurel, right? Then whoever the developer is has to have a set aside within the building for low moderate income. Yes. But you have to know if that 20% has been met by the town already or not.
Even though you could buy, like in Howard Town, you could buy the apartment or the hometown. You could purchase them,
Townhomes.
townhome.
Mhm.
So don't they have to have like, even though they have like Section A or stuff like that, maybe they could have the full 20% of Section A?
No, when he says the 20%.
20% is whatever's required.
By the town to
So,
have that.
Mount
that
Laurel
amount
is
of people.
every developing community must have a program that fits something like this. Every developing community has a program for this and for Section 8, because this is for
That's
financing.
just for the building.
Section 8 is a voucher, but that's the town, right? And if there's a new building, it's a new development, they have to have whatever percentage is left and meet that percentage. So they're forced to comply with that. And that's why I mentioned that Newark, even though it's low and moderate income, Newark got sued for not having enough. So in their plans, they were just planning luxury and kicking out low moderate income. So they got sued. Edgewater got sued. So there's a bunch of towns that just recently got sued. For the past 7 or 8 years, they've been getting sued for not providing enough in accordance to Mount Laurel lawsuits. So this right here is a great program. I told you guys that this is roughly 80% of the market out there is low moderate income. You want a good place to be in? Focus in low moderate income. You'll never run out of business. Guaranteed. Right?
You focus on low moderate income in selling or in renting?
Both. You'll never run out of business. Government is always trying to help people. No, I'm talking about these scenarios. Yes. That's live. That was live. Yes. What was it?
I was just thinking like, maybe for future references, we need to like a review to kind of get like.
I can't hear you. You were going lower.
Okay, never mind.
She's tired.
She's tired.
She said that, next time maybe when you do the reviews, you could probably do Jeopardy.
Yeah, so we.
So they don't get so
have
tired,
it.
or we don't get so tired.
And maybe into warranty and such. Okay.
I'll see how it goes. 48. You have a question regarding 47?
I was asking, is that why you like me more?
48. Artificial low teaser rates are a feature of A, VA mortgages, B, FHA mortgages, C, conventional mortgages, or D, adjustable rate mortgages. Who says A? B, C, or D? All right. Adjustable rate mortgages. For you to get into this crazy type of loan, the bank usually offers you a teaser or initial rate. It's like giving you a sweetener. Come and take this loan. Okay? So it is to fool you into getting into that loan. D.
What loan is the one that helps people to, get a house? Is that the one?
The one we just read.
Like where you have to have like a minimum of a 3-year period where they're investigating what goes in and what goes out.
Okay, not for this right now, but every loan has conditions. So obviously, if they're trying to help you, they're going to have more conditions or stipulations for the loan.
Oh, so
Which
that's
ones?
also the type of loan.
Which one? Yeah, which conditions they are, I have no idea because the programs could change over time. So not every agency is offering those programs. You need to inquire with the agency itself what the requirement is. FHA, 1 year, you have to be there. VAs, traditionally 2 years, you have to be there. HMFA, you might have to be there for 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. It all depends on the program they're running at the time. Because these programs are sponsored by not only by the government, but by the people that need to let go of money. Like the wealthy people, they need to donate to certain programs, and that's where these things get involved. Okay? 49. Mortgage brokers, A, handle only FHA mortgages. B, sell packages of loans on the secondary market. C, refer borrowers to the mortgage lenders. Or D, keep certain loans in their own portfolios. Who says A? B, C, D. So mortgage brokers are us in the mortgage world. We match the seller to the buyer. Mortgage brokers, not bankers, mortgage brokers, they match the lender with the borrower. So the correct answer is C. We help the borrower and refer them to the correct lender. 50. A home equity loan is really a form of A, interim financing, B, reverse mortgage, C, open-ended mortgage, or D, second mortgage. Who says A? B, C, or D? Okay. Interim financing, it says interim, so it's in between.
Is that like
A home equity, I'm sorry?
Is that like a line of credit?
Home equity loan is a loan. It's money given to you.
So what is line of credit?
It's a home equity line of credit. It's also in the second mortgage side.
Okay.
It's a type of, then I just answered. So it's D. It's a type of second mortgage. That's why I wanted to explain the difference. If it said HELOC, home equity line of credit, then the correct answer, the most accurate answer would be C, open-end mortgage. Because it says home equity loan, money was given to you, it's a form of second mortgage. Because as I was explaining, interim financing, as it says, interim is in between. This is the one when you have to sell a property in order to buy another one. So you have a loan in between, so you can hurry up and buy this one before you lose it, while you wait for that one. Reverse mortgage is for senior citizens that have equity build up, and they're tight on money. So they tap the equity to receive money versus paying money. Okay? Open end, as I said, is the HELOC, and second mortgage is a home equity loan. Money was given to you. If it said home equity line of credit, money was not given to you. A credit line was made available for you.
Interim financing?
Interim means in between, or while we're waiting, in between. Say it again. Line of credit. So it's like a credit card. Remember that?
Okay.
All right. So, still got 9 minutes. Now it's time for questions. Yes.
Once you take out a FHA loan and you want to do another, like buy another property, that will be a conventional loan?
So if you have an active FHA loan, you cannot get another active FHA loan. You need to get a conventional loan.
So what if you have a conventional loan? Can you be optioned for an FHA?
If there's an extreme life situation and you have not benefited yet from FHA, yes. So these are the both instances. If you've never taken an FHA, bless you. If you never, guys, we're still live and we're still doing questions. Thank you. So the class ends in 8 minutes. So what I was saying was, if you never had an FHA loan, then you're eligible for FHA. If you have an FHA loan and you want to take advantage again, there has to be extreme life situation change, like relocation, like a health issue, a divorce, a marriage, something like that, right? Something that forces you out of that particular property that you're at, and therefore the government helps you by giving you an opportunity for another FHA program.
Well, what's the down payment when it is a conventional? Is it 25 or 20?
It depends. Certain lenders, they go from 15%, others 25%. But usually the traditional is 20% down payment for conventional. It could be if it's a second one. If it's the first one, even conventional, they have first-time home buyer programs. Some of them goes as low as 5%, and there's others, because of government programs, we're still in class, thank you, because of others, 3% down payment. Okay, yes?
So what if you have a house and then you have an FHA and then you sell the house and you wanna buy another one, can you qualify?
You might not be able to qualify right away. So you're gonna have to explain, why did you sell that one? Why are you getting into another one? And you're applying for an FHA. What was the change in circumstances to be a first-time home buyer again?
You said it makes it like a big change.
Like I said, job relocation, marriage, divorce, health reasons, a bunch of babies, yeah. Yeah, of course. Say it again?
You can change from one city to another city, and that becomes.
That's relocation. So yes, there's a life-changing situation, Ms. Jones.
Would you mind going through the setting in the chapter 60 to 22?
We're gonna do it tomorrow. We're gonna do that tomorrow.
So you're gonna get tomorrow.
Which one is it? 7? 7? D.
Okay, that's what I feel like.
But we're gonna go over it tomorrow.
Just want to make sure I was right, that's all.
All right.
Thank you.
Questions? Now nobody has questions?
Wait, so.
Go ahead.
Are you gonna assign the day where we come in to take your test?
Yes,
Do you guys have that?
Thursday.
Next Thursday? Thursday, we come in and take the test?
Next Thursday, everybody's taking the exam, the school exam.
What time?
Same time. Yep.
But we don't have
If-
to come Monday, Tuesday.
No.
Oh.
So if you want to do it sooner, you can. You just let me know and I'll schedule for you guys to take the exam. If you want to do it that day, you can. Beyond that day, I'm not going to allow you. That's the due date to take the first. Yes, I can. It's my school. It's my class. And I'll do whatever I want.
Oh my God, you don't have to go there.
Let me explain why real quick. I did this in the first day and I'll explain again. If I don't force you to take the first exam, then you're going to go another week, I'm not ready. Another week, I'm not ready. Another week, I'm not ready. And you're going to come back here.
That'll be me. A year ago.
A year ago, right?
And you get
My point is, that's a life-changing event. That's different. My point is, I'm going to force you to take the exam so you know exactly where you are. If you fail, it's okay. I'm just trying to get you to assess yourself and not be scared. Just do it. You got it? I allow you to take another exam. The question is, what if you pass? Right? If you fail, just be ready for it. You fail.
Right there.
I never passed in the first
Hmm?
try.
You cry?
Can you tell us right there? We pass.
I'll tell you right there and then, yeah. You won't get out of here without knowing if you passed. Yes.
It's gonna be Thursday.
The school exam,
You stop this time.
the school exam, you got 4 minutes. The school exam is at 7:15 on Thursday, the latest.
Wait, what?
If you're not here at 7:15, we're gonna have a problem. Because I'm gonna have to take you to a different room. I don't want anybody interrupting the people taking the exam. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you cannot make it, I'm letting you know right now. Listen to me. If you cannot make it 7:15 on Thursday, try to schedule for before. Try to schedule for the day before, earlier, whatever you want. But at 7:15, I don't want anybody, after 7:15, I don't want anybody coming in. Because that will distract.
Can we come earlier, like a 6?
But to take the exam?
Like, no.
But I'll put you over
Review,
there.
like, no, to review.
Yes.
well,
If you guys want to be here at 6, I'll open the doors. You can be here. Reviewing, you can do whatever you want. What I'm saying is at 7:15 on the dot starts the exam. No phones, no talking, no in and out, and no eating. Whatever you want to eat before. Okay?
Pencils, calculators.
You're entitled to 1 bathroom break, but everything stays here. You're not taking with you. Yes.
Like the phone and stuff. Pencils, calculator.
Bring a calculator. You have to bring your own calculator. The simple calculator, which you should have brought today.
And that's it.
$1 calculator. The pencils I'll provide, the paper I'll provide, the exam I'll provide, the grades I'll provide, the space I'll provide, and not the answers. Yes.
Can we ask you a
Still got
question?
2 minutes. You guys putting stuff away, you're making noise. This is still live, I'm still answering. We got time. Yes.
Monday
Sorry.
through Wednesday.
I will be here. If anybody has any questions, I said this in the live yesterday. So if anybody has questions, I'll make myself available here to answer those questions.
From 7 to 10.
Same time. Okay? But just let me know you're going to come, because if you're not going to come, then you know what?
When you go to sleep.
I'll leave. All right? Just let me know. I'll be here Monday. I made myself available, and I told you this in the live yesterday. I'll treat this as if we're still having class. Okay? Wait. What were your questions?
Like in the test, are we allowed to like ask the questions?
No.
Like.
This is not an open book exam. This is not a question exam. No.
You're stuck on a question.
Nope.
Where you can rephrase it.
Nope. Not at all. You have to remember, this is like the state exam. I'll treat it as a state exam. No questions, nothing. I'll address that after. That's why I'm doing the questions now and giving you as many examples as possible of how to interpret the question. So then when you get there, you know what to do. Yes.
So tomorrow we can review the same.
Tomorrow, we're going to do chapter 16 through 22. We will not reach 22, that I can guarantee you, because it starts getting a little complicated. But I'm going to try to do my best. But 22 we did yesterday. So, should be easy. 23 is this, the reviews.
Oh.
Melody. You had a question?
Why you make yourself so available? Like, why you so nice?
Oh, jeez. Bueno, I got
10 o'clock, yes, run.
Yes, always.
You're welcome, guys, you're welcome.